Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm doing a video today and this is on explaining quantum jumping. So quantum jumping is actually really easy. I'm going to give you an example what it means in science, and then I'll walk you through what it means for us as humans. So here is an experiment. So we're going to take an atom, and scientists have already done this. They've taken an atom, they've put it in a vacuum. So I'm gonna show you 5 examples. So these are 5 vacuums. We're gonna have 5 atoms. So here's our little atom. Okay. And the atom is here. This is called ground zero. Okay. So the atom is resting in the vacuum. Now we use a vacuum because we don't want any stimulus. We don't want circumstances in the vacuum. We don't want any type of stimuli around the atom. We're performing a very sacred ritual here. We're performing a scientific experiment here. So it's in a vacuum. The atom is resting at ground zero. We take a laser, and the laser, right, it's energy, stimuli, and we shine it on the atom, and the atom in this vacuum then jumps to another space. Okay, so the atom jumps into another space in the quantum field because of that stimuli. And then it will come back down into its normal resting place. So again, we have an atom here. We hit it with a laser. That will now jump into another place in the quantum field and then come back down into its resting place. It will always revert back to ground zero, depending on the intensity of the laser, how long we hold the laser on the atom. Okay, so those are other concepts, but quantum jumping is very easy. It's an atom moving from one state to another based on stimuli that is happening outside of itself. Now, humans, we are made up of 6.5 to 7 octillion atoms. So our beings are made up of roughly 7 octillion atoms. That's a 7 with 27 zeros after it. It's a lot of atoms. So now you can understand we've added a level of complexity based on the number of atoms. So that's on a 150, on average, like 150-pound person. So now there's an added complexity to this when we now try to take this and explain it in human terms. Quantum jumping is when an atom at ground zero moves to an alternative space within the quantum field when triggered by stimuli, and then will naturally flow back down to ground zero. So let's talk about this then from a human perspective. So we have a person. Right? And I'm in the quantum field. I exist in the quantum field. We all exist in the quantum field. And I can have internal or external stimuli occur. So when we think about circumstances, we think about what's happening in our 3D reality. I can experience my atoms can be impacted based on stimuli that could be happening outside of me or internally. So let's take an outside stimuli. Let's say, for instance, so here's me right now. Here's my grounded state. This is what I call what is your natural state or your state of being. SOB. That's your natural state of being. This is, for the most part, on generally throughout the day, how am I showing up? How am I feeling? So for me, let's say on a scale from 0 to 9, and I use that scale in my quantum jumping course, on a scale from 1 to 9, I'm pretty neutral. I'm feeling like I'm a 5. Say my natural state of being, I'm pretty neutral. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty good lucky. I go with the flow. Everything is cool. So I'm at a 5. Okay, so let's take an example. Let's say I get into a fender bender. No one's hurt. There's not a lot of damage. It's just a fender bender. Now, these are higher states of consciousness, and I talk about this in a number of videos. And then these are lower states of consciousness. This is victim mentality down here. This is I am one with everything. I'm neutral here. This is I'm neutral here. I am the cause of my reality. Down here in these lower states, I am the effect of my reality. Down here, everything is happening to me. Up here, everything is happening for me. So, years ago, I got into a fender bender. Wasn't aware of any of this stuff. I got out of my Jeep. No one was hurt, but I got out of my Jeep and I literally flipped out. I immediately dropped into victim mentality. What the hell is going on? Why is the universe against me? Why did this just happen? This is my baby. I just bought this. Oh my God. Right? So the stimulus, remember in the example with quantum jumping, the stimulus was the laser. So here, the external stimulus is a fender bender. I drop down here in the quantum field. I've literally just quantum jumped. I've jumped, though, to a less desired state. So let's say, let's take the same thing, my state of being, and something else happens in my reality. Let's say one of my kids call and says, I just won $500. I'm probably going to jump up a little bit. I'm going to be like, oh, honey, that's so awesome. I love you. This is great. You could buy mommy a nice gift. I love you. All is good. And then I naturally will come back to my state of being. Okay? But for the most part, it's neutral. Now, let's say I buy a lottery ticket tonight and I win $1 million. Well, I am going to quantum jump into, that marker's not working. I would quantum jump into a much higher state of being. You guys are understanding now, I think, the point. So quantum jumping is really, we're jumping through parallel realities all day. All day. We're up, we're down, we're jumping through parallel realities all day long. But what we need to understand is what's driving us moving up and in and out of those parallel realities. And how do we continuously choose on purpose, deliberately, as the creators of our reality? How do we keep choosing higher states, higher timelines? So we continuously jump into more preferred states, more preferred timelines than down here. Because if you, based on circumstances don't matter, only state of being matters. Only state of being matters. The only thing that's creating your reality is your state of being. So if we know and we understand that, Don't you want to manage how you're reacting to outside stimulus? Don't you want to have a full understanding? Holy crap. Every time I react to something happening in the exterior world, it's throwing me into other parallel realities. Okay, I can accept that. I can accept that I'm quantum jumping all the time. I can accept that I'm jumping into parallel realities all day long. But now that I'm aware of this, I'm going to make sure that I'm not jumping down into these lower timelines. Who wants to be down here? Down here is victimhood. Up here is my life is amazing. I'm powerful. I'm a powerful creator. So you want to be aware of this so that you're consciously creating versus being the effect of your circumstances. Now, let's talk about, I talked about external stimulus. That changes our state of being and propels us into different parallel realities. So we're always quantum jumping based on our emotional response. So an internal stimuli is me sitting and I'm remembering something from the past. I'm remembering experience. It could be yesterday, it could be 10 years from now, whatever. I'm remembering something that happened from the past. And I'm allowing myself to stay in those thoughts. I'm allowing myself to feel bad, feel angry. So here I am, I'm at my normal state of consciousness. And my own brain starts thinking thoughts. And I begin to jump into a less desired state. I'm now quantum jumping into a parallel reality where this is just conflict. So let's say, for instance, I have an argument with anyone. I have an argument with my best friend. And it's not resolved. And I'm sitting here today and I'm like, I'm going through the conversation. Now, this never happened. My best friend watches these videos, so there's no issue here, girl. But let's say I'm sitting here and I'm running through this conversation in my head. And I'm like, you know, who does she think she is to tell me? You know how we do this. We always come back with like really good things that we should have said in the conversation. We just keep playing it over and over and over and over, and we're getting pissed off. We're getting angry. We're getting whatever. That's me generating an internal stimuli that moves me down in the quantum field vibrationally. Has a negative impact on my state of being. When those thoughts start to come up, like if I have a conflict with someone, I know, whoa. Let's cut that off because I'm not going to go down here. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to ask myself, why am I creating this? Because I'm creating it. I know I'm creating it. Okay. So another situation could be you want your SP to come back. And they come back exactly like better than you even imagined. And your specific person comes in, everything is great, blah, 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 but you're still pissed off about something that they did 3 years ago that you don't think that they've paid for enough. So you, based on your thoughts, that's your internal stimuli, based on your own thoughts, you're now jumping into lower states of consciousness. You're quantum jumping into lower states, less desired parallel realities. You might think that's okay, but the problem is, and I'll get to this in another video. When I talk about parallel timelines, did you ever see Jumanji? So in one of the Jumanjis, they show where they have to get from this cliff over to the other side. And in the middle are all these logs that are kind of like swinging back and forth. And you got to jump from one log and then wait for it to swing so you could jump to another log. That's how I see parallel realities in my head. I'm on this timeline. Damn markers. If I'm on a timeline here, Okay? So there's timelines all over this quantum field. These markers are terrible. There's timelines all over this quantum field. And I'm here, and I'm happy. I'm at a 5, let's say. Happy. Happy, this is great. My life is awesome. These are the closest timelines that I can jump to. Easily, effortlessly, I can jump to any of these timelines because they're within my quantum field. These are the closest ones to me. This is when we talk about the law of attraction. We're not attracting anything. We're in a quantum field. We're in a space, and these are the opportunities that are closest to us based on our space. When Esther talks about vibrationally get into alignment, hello, this is exactly what she's talking about. Here's the timeline. You need to stay in alignment with those timelines. If you're down here crying, woe is me, and this is the timeline that you want to be on, where you have your lover, you have all the things that you desire. But you're here, woe is me, I'm the victim of my reality, everything is happening to me, blah, 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 blah. And she literally says you can't get there. You cannot jump from here to there and stay there and stay there. You vibrationally need to be in that state of being as your set point. As your set point. So if you're down here in this state of being, I call this victim mentality, these lower states of consciousness, vibration matters. You could potentially jump to this timeline. But you will always fall back to your normal state of being, your ground zero. It's actual science. It's actual science. The atom, when hit with the laser beam, goes from ground zero, its natural state of being, goes somewhere off into the quantum field, and naturally floats back down to its state of being. If this is not your state of being, if this is not your vibration, you will not be able to stay there. Your SP might text you and say, hey girl, let's go out. You go out and you'll never hear from them again. Because you will immediately, this is your natural state. The thing with affirmations, self-concept, all of the tools, and I talk about them too, all of these tools that we could use, what Neville talks about, SATs, the thing with all of those is to move your state of being into this powerful energy. I am the creator of my reality. Okay, those things are permission slips for you to be in a natural state of neutrality. Everything is happening for me. Getting you out of the state, everything is happening against me. The world is against me. The universe does not want me to have love in my life. I am a victim. It's to get us the hell out of that energy to over here so we could have all the things that we desire. So, how do we use this to our advantage? Do a scale. Check out this video. I'm going to link it here. Where do you fall on the quantum scale? On my quantum scale? Where do you fall? What's your natural state of being? And then, where do you go? Where do you go when negative things or less desired states occur? When negative circumstances pop off in your reality, are you holding firm here? Are you saying, I'm the creator of my reality? Yeah, I just got a flat tire. I had to have created that for some reason. I'm not going to get upset because I don't want to go down here. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to figure out why I would have created something like that. Or maybe I'm just going to park it over on the side because maybe I was supposed to have a flat tire. Could have protected me from an accident. could have this, it could have that. Maybe I was supposed to meet the hot guy that comes and changes my tire. I don't know. Everything always works out for me. Everything is happening for me. So I'm just going to suspend my judgment on this. I'm not going to react to it. I'm just going to stay here and let me see what timeline I bump into here, because this is fun. All right, guys. Hope that helped explain quantum jumping. If you have any questions, post them down below. Good luck.